Welcome to another Toronto After Dark 31 Days of Horror 2018 video. Full disclaimer, the following film I'm about to talk about is done by someone I actually know, and he's actually one of the programmers at the festival. He's done quite a number of films, not a huge amount of films, but this is definitely his largest outgoing. It's, I would have to say it's probably his biggest budget, and it shows, and it's a film called Lifechanger. Yes, Lifechanger. It's, the thing about this film is it not only has it played a bunch of festivals already, but according to Justin, it's gonna play a ton more. So if what I say about the film intrigues you at all, you will have most likely a chance. If you have any type of genre film festival around you, it's likely gonna play there, because yeah, he's getting played everywhere, and yeah, kudos to him. You know, whatever. Anyways, but what is the film about? The film is about, I guess, a shapeshifter. We're not talking werewolves here. No, this is essentially someone who goes around, and as their body begins to deteriorate, they sort of mimic somebody else. So they sort of like suck the life force out of somebody, essentially killing the person, but turning into them at the same time. So they get all of the their thoughts, their feelings, their memories, and they look like them and sound like them and such. But they also retain all of their past, memories and such from all the other people that they've shape-shifted into. And yeah, so this film is essentially about a person who, for reasons unknown, the shape-shifting process is not lasting as long as it used to, and they're having to kill quicker and quicker. So it's funny, it's one of those things where you can't really say, like, the shapeshifter is played by such and such a person, because every time they shapeshift, it's a new person. So you can imagine how many people are involved in this film in terms of cast. But we'll start off with writer-director Justin McConnell. He's one of those guys. It's funny. He's done so much stuff. He runs a short film festival. He's a programmer for Toronto After Dark. He does a lot of stuff with the extras that you see on those Blu-rays and DVDs out there. He's shot a lot of them. I think Blue Underground stuff and Anchor Bay and all sorts of different companies that he's got little featurettes or interviews or whatever in there. But in terms of him as a director, I think it wasn't his first feature, but it was one of his early ones. Was called The Collapsed, and this was a post-apocalyptic micro-budget film, which doesn't really bring anything new to the table, but I enjoyed it because, well, I love post-apocalyptic things, and considering the budget that he worked with, which was like nothing, it was pretty cool. He did the Skull World documentary, which was, if you know anything about the box wars, that's definitely something to check out. He did a bunch of shorts. He did the wraparound for the Galaxy of Horrors Blu-ray anthology thing. Trying to think. I thought he did something else. He did do something else, but I can't remember what it was. But yeah, now he's with Lifechanger. Now he's done Lifechanger. And wow, talk about somebody who has really come into their own. This film, I mean, it's not without its problems, but it is yeah, it is cool. It is cool. It is he gets some great physical effects. It's all done in camera here. We're not looking at CG craziness. It's kudos. I mean, it is the way to go, man. Like, you could have probably paid to have some CG work done and have all these transformations done with CG and stuff, and ended up looking like Werewolf in Paris type garbage. But no, he is, he's old school, man. He's old school. He likes the physical effects, and therefore, there's plenty of it in here. In terms of actors, we've essentially got one person, because this film is also kind of a love story. And this shape changer became infatuated with one of the I guess it was the wife of one of the victims he took at one point. And so he, throughout this portion of the film, he continually goes back to, she's a regular at a bar, and he goes back, or he or she, depending, regularly goes back to this bar to engage this person in conversation, etc. And yeah, that person is played by Laura Burke. Now, Laura Burke she's not going to be well known. You probably don't know her by name. She played in a film called Forest Fairies. Probably haven't seen it. But she also played in a film called Poor Agnes. And I think Poor Agnes is where he found her from, because that film played at the festival last year. I think it was last year. And she played the main character of Agnes, and she was fantastic. So that's really, I could go into the other ones. There's Jack Foley's in this, Litza Bako, Sam White, Rachel Van Duzer, Steve Kassan, Mark Rainmaker, Adam Buller, Peter Higginson, Daniel Feraldo, Brian Quintero, Ry Barrett, the guy who he's done he's all over the Canadian horror film industry. They all have parts in this, some longer than others, some not so much. Some do a fantastic job, other ones maybe not so much. But, and this is a big but, this film was surprisingly extremely enjoyable. And I know why it is cleaning up, A, being played at all the festivals all over the place, and 2, it seems to win awards at every single festival it plays at. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I said, there are problems with the film, and most of it comes down to the timeline. See, he keeps saying that, you know, things are speeding up. He doesn't really explain why some of the transformations last like a day, other ones last longer, some of them last way longer, and the one thing he did say was it seemed like cocaine or drugs of that sort helped prolong it a little bit, but even then he had things where it didn't last very long at all. And then I'm guessing, because it didn't really explain, and this is the thing that's really weird, he starts relying easy to get coke, right? And what was it that he got? He got his hands on shoot. What is, I can't even think of the word. See, this is what happens when you get tired. Antibiotics, I think it was. Yeah, I think that's what he got. So he got his hands on antibiotics, and somehow that prolonged it for like a week, longer. I don't know. I don't really know how much time passed in that. It definitely was longer than anything else in the film, but at the same time, antibiotics aren't hard to get. They're actually really probably easier to get than the cocaine or any of the other hard drugs that he was getting his hands on to be able to, you know, maintain his form. So yeah, that part didn't really make any sense to me. Because yeah, it didn't really say that the antibiotics would work better than something like cocaine, but at the same time it did. Yeah, I think it was the explanation as to why certain transformations were, you know, I don't know. Certain transformations lasted longer than others, but it wasn't like it was a progression of, you know, this one lasted a day, this one lasted 20 hours, this one lasted 16 hours, this one lasted 12 hours. It wasn't like a natural progression or something like that. No, it kind of did some weird graph type progression, eventually getting to the one that at the end, which happened to be the longest one in the film. Of course, he's been doing this for, I don't know, hundreds of years or so. So yeah, normally they would last a long time, essentially a lifetime. He could be in one for, you know, an entire lifetime and move on type thing, but by the sounds of it. And yes, it is, you know, there are certain explanations, usually in voiceover, where, you know, the creature character, whatever, I don't even know what to call him, the shapeshifter, tries to explain things. So tries to explain his past, how it used to last a long time, but for some reason, so he doesn't know why, for some reason it's not lasting as long as it should. And then other times, you know, the voiceover was, this one should have lasted a lot longer than this, right? Like it seemed like the voiceover was kind of used by Justin as a, oh my god, I don't really need more of this portion of this character, so I'm just gonna cut this thing down. I want to have the kills. I need the character to progress to get to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy, because each one gets through until you get to the end, right? So it's a connect the dots. So you need each one, no matter how long you're in the body, but don't need to show it on film, don't need, show it on the screen, don't need to have it actually take as long as the guy before or the one after it. So it seemed like the explanations were used where that it should have lasted longer, or we'll prolong this one by, we got some cocaine, so this one, cocaine helps you stay there, but the cocaine didn't last long, and then, like I said, antibiotics apparently makes it last longer, and as long as you had the antibiotics, it seemed to work, but he was popping more and more pills, so, yeah, I would have liked a little bit more clarification on that part, because it really, I don't think it was done well enough, especially at the end where it's, it essentially was, okay, the person has access to antibiotics, he grabs some antibiotics, and next thing you know, takes another life, and for some reason, I guess these antibiotics, it didn't say that, with the cocaine, he specifically said the cocaine helps prolong, even though it's weird, like, how long would the cocaine prolong it, considering before, as far as we know, this timeline shown in the film, the transformations lasted a while, even if it was only a week. In this one, we're looking at, like, days, or day, or shorter. So I don't know how the cocaine would have come across as prolonging before, but for some reason it did. I don't know. None of that was really explained, but he does say the cocaine prolongs it. It doesn't say the antibiotics prolong it, at least I don't remember. That being said, excuse me. But that's what you have to take from it, right? Because he's popping the pills. Maybe it's hard. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it is a cocaine derivative. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it said access to antibiotics. Maybe my memory's completely off. I don't know. But again, I came out of the film thinking, why was the timeline all jumpy over all the way, and especially at the end where all of these ones that we've seen previously in this film were all short, and then next time it's like, this one's gonna last a while so that we can develop the love story, essentially. Yeah, so I don't know. That was the only aspect that I kind of bugged me coming out of this film. But that being said, if you don't dwell on things like that, you know what? The film is great. It is fantastic. Oh my gosh. I mean, some of the moments do look a little low budget, but for the most part, wow. Great film. Love the story. Love the idea. I'd almost like to see I don't know if you see, this is a thing. This film could have a sequel, but I don't think it could involve, well, I mean, you could involve the people who are in this film, because like I said, well, not the people, not the actors, but the character, because the character, you could do before, after or before, prequel, sequel, involving the shape-shifting character, because the actors, whatever, they change. Every time you get a new body, it's a new person. But you could also have, like, maybe it's called Lifechangers, aliens. It always works if you put an S on the end. Why wouldn't you want more shapeshifters? I'll just walk into Justin and I'll be like, Justin, I've got the next movie for you, Lifechanger. Shh. It worked with Alien, right? Yeah, so maybe in the future there's lots of these life changes, these shape-shifting creatures, and maybe one of them is, doesn't want to be a life changer anymore, but he doesn't want other people to be it. Maybe he takes a moral high ground or something. I don't know. But I think this whole world could be explored again. Does it need to be explored again? I don't think so. But at the same time, everybody loves a cool, like, creature or something like that. And it might be something that would be cool to explore, right? With the right writing, maybe. I don't know. I should bring that up to Justin. Like, why not? But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, if you haven't figured this, Lifechanger is the shape-shifting thing. That's where the title comes from. And like I said, it's a film that, it'll come. I'm almost certain it will end up on video somewhere. Just because I know the production companies involved behind this, they do a lot of releases. Some of their stuff hasn't been released yet, except for on demand. That I'm still waiting on it coming out. I don't know, but that's beside the point. So the likelihood that this, especially being Justin's, and Justin is a fan of physical format, so he's definitely, if he's selling the film, he's going to want to get it on something, DVD or Blu-ray, hopefully Blu-ray. So if you don't have a festival near you where you can check this film out, and hopefully the rest of the films at the festival, see as many as you can. That's the beauty thing about these things. You see a lot of films on the big screen that you wouldn't be able to see on the big screen otherwise. A lot of these films they generally do not go wide release. They just don't. Unless you're in a big film market, you're not even going to get it on limited release, right? So, I live, this festival's in Toronto. Yes, I drive in whatever public transportation in to get there. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do that. It's far distance now. But yeah, wow. We're in Toronto. We get those limited releases here, and if I really wanted to see a film, I could do that. But for people who don't live near Toronto in Canada, Montreal may be your next best bet. Outside of that, the likelihood that you see a limited release film, very, very slim. So, on demand, I'm sure this will hit on demand. And hopefully you have that on-demand service. Because that's the thing, right? You get so many on-demand services coming. And I'm sure there's more to come. But, yeah. Physical format, baby. That's the way to go. Trust me, it's the way to go. And I will get this film as soon as it comes out. I will be on Lifechanger and grabbing it. Because, yeah. Not only because, a friend made it, and because I do like to get the films that played at the festival, but because this is definitely something that I think should be in your horror collection. It's not for everybody. You mainstream horror people, you big budget horror people, no, it's not for you. You'll enjoy it. You'll be on the on-demand portion of the people who see this, but if you're into those low-budget horror films, looking for something a little bit different, a little bit new, this one's for you. This one is so for you. You are going to own this. You're going to want to own this. You may not preach this film. You may not run around telling your friends all about it, but this is one of those films where you're going to be like, there's something about this film. I like it. I like it. I like what it did. A little bit different. Enough of everything. It's got nudity. It's got blood. It's got, all the things we like in horror films. Or at least that I like in horror films. You probably like it too. But yeah. Be on the lookout for it. It's called Lifechanger. Writer-director Justin McConnell. And yes, like I said, I know the guy, so take it for whatever you will. Anyways, more 31 Days of Horror to come, as well as Toronto After Dark coverage. So keep watching. Till next video, take care. Have a good one.